Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to the closest thing we can have for Fan Fridays. So in my last video, I talked about the potential shenanigans of Tera types in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then a few people gave their thoughts in the comments, so I thought, why not honor them with something that is kind of close to Fan Fridays by breaking down their strategies. Now, for the millionth time, I never canceled Fan Fridays. Game Freak did. If there were battle replays at any time, Fan Fridays immediately comes back, and we can only pray that is the case for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, comment your thoughts down below. Also, unrelated to the whole Fan Fridays thing, but Pokemon Unite just updated, or like made a tweet update. All ranked games are happening on the new stadium immediately upon release. So September 2nd, that's a week away. Zapdos is gone. All kinds of new shenanigans happening, going straight into ranked. I did not expect it. I didn't want to talk about like that was going to happen because you couldn't really tell from the beta, or maybe they were going to like wait a season for everyone to adjust normally. No, it looks like all the problems with Pokemon Unite are gone, unless they don't split the queues. If they do that, then yeah, we have like the greatest Pokemon game ever besides Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Battle Revolution. Let's talk about these strategies though. So I wanted to like try to mess around like, oh, the item is representative of the Tera type. So a frame said, hey, what about water, Jolteon, because of the Volt Absorb? And I honestly feel like the best way to utilize Tera typing is not going to be to make your like one debate play like, aha, see, I had that 1 in 16 chance of having that typing that's now immune for your low chance you're going to throw a super effective hit on the Pokemon kind of idea. I think it's just going to be using the synergies because, oh, now you have a Pokemon that's only weak to grass and has Volt Absorb. So you can actually like make maybe a Volt... Actually, there's no Volt Absorb play to be made because, yeah, no one's going to be throwing an electric type Pokemon on the Jolteon. You're just going to be a stronger Jolteon that has less weaknesses. So these are the ideas worth exploring. Also, you're going to gain a water type stab and still hold some pretty good stats with the electric typing. So there's going to be some synergies right there, like Bolt Beam, really strong. So giving an electric type Pokemon access to ice that doesn't have it, or an ice type Pokemon access to electric that doesn't have it, could also find some pretty good power. But then Bound came in and did one better because flying Jolteon with the Volt Absorb to mitigate the weakness, and I think this is going to be a better one because now it has a lot more use in both making Jolteon stronger, but also ignoring something common like the Earthquake. So you pop that flying memory, and then you're not just doing it for the one debate play. You have like kind of the same idea behind the water memory Jolteon with that strength. And again, this isn't going to be... Did I say memory? I should have just said Tera. Either way, like you're gonna pop that Tera type, and now you still have access to any item. Probably don't need the Focus Sash reliance as much. Maybe this is where we just find the Life Orb to kind of get as much damage across as possible. And then, yeah, now you're just Jolteon that can do some Volt Absorb stuff. High amount of speed, good amount of damage. Special, like, strong special attacks for flying aren't really that much of a thing. And I think it's even better for Jolteon because you go water, well now a grass-type Pokemon is still dual resisting you. You go flying, a grass-type Pokemon is now getting hit super effective. So I think that can open up the opportunities for the Jolteon. And I think putting the memory is too confusing and just better have the hidden power represented as the like potential Tera move. But yeah, like Jolteon has some options right there. Steven S. out here proposing a pretty good idea as well. You go normal type for the Boom Burst on Flygon. Yeah, like that's the weird thing about Flygon. Special attack, not too much lower than the attack. You are going to be giving up like Dragon Dance, but apparently giving Flygon Dragon Dance just didn't do anything for it, which is super unfortunate. That Boom Burst damage with the normal amplification is going to be pretty crazy. Levitate, just going to have use. So also the ideas of not every Levitate Pokemon becoming an electric type and kind of representing some different ideas and underutilized Pokemon. That's pretty cool. Julian coming in and saying, hey, let's not forget about other evolutions because Pixelate, it got nerfed, but now it's not. because you just go Fairy, which is already like a really strong typing. Like doubling down on Mono Fairy for the Tera typing doesn't really harm your Pokemon at all, and it's just going to like Giga Mega boost the Hyper Voice. So you can either run Scarf and still be pretty crazy. Like Scarf, not the most insane amount of outspeeds, but again, like you're just finding so much damage to where you're like super wall breaking at that point. You can also run the classic like Specs wall breaking on the Sylveon, where you find some tankiness, you find some like proper speed tiers to go up against. You run Modest, you run Max Special Attack, and then like shenanigans ensue, and you just one-shot everything. Kind of like how we broke down the adaptability on Porygon, just finding insane amounts of damage. But Hyper Voice hits better, because it's not going to have the immunity to Ghost and a lot of other stuff going on. So a lot of ideas for the Sylveon potentially. Doubles, go Choice Specs Tailwind. What they gonna do about it? Really, what can they do about that? Very, very few things. There's gonna be like some shenanigans with Trick Room, but like, what if you just mow down the Trick Room tank Pokemon that's supposed to survive everything, and then it gets even crazier? So that's gonna be fun to break down. A few other considerations, like depending on the strategy that's being used, your opponent still has a Tera type, and they can still do some really terrifying things for it. So you need to get a lot of effectiveness, but also you don't have to like, it's not like Megas. You're not dedicating to a single Pokemon pop-off. So you can just have this waiting in the background. It's like, oh, wow, this Pokemon, like the random Jolteon on my team that I was going to use anyways with a Life Orb because that's viable on its own, it has the flying that maybe no one's going to expect, and now I can like kind of save that, or I can just use another Pokemon or something else, or you just go all in and go, you know what, I'm just 100%, maybe 95% Hyper Voice Sylveon KOing 3 Pokemon kind of idea. So we got that going on. Araquanid. I can't begin to think about these interactions because Water Bubble makes the Pokemon's Water Power 2x. So if we're not water anymore, we still have like a lot of strength right there. A lot of people are also talking about Delmise. I think Delmise is the more obvious one, but like you can't be burned, so your attack is safe. Firepower against this halved, so you can become whatever typing that wants, and then still have Water Stab, Water Power, or maybe just lean into it. You become Water Tera Araquanid, and even with the 70 attack, somehow that just turns into like outrageously destroying everything. Also, if I can remember the item, Mystic Water, like this is another idea, so that way you're not like 100% stuck on a Choice Spec, so you're not like taking damage from Life Orb or something, and if you're just leaning into a Monotype, is Mystic Water enough damage? If it's not, then it's a bad idea. I just don't like the idea of Life Orb burn damage on a Pokemon that's going to be getting outsped regularly, but there's still like a lot of like really wild ideas. This Pokemon hasn't been fully explored, and he's just proposed, yeah, Araquanid. And that's all you can do. You can't think any further because like firepower against this have. Oh, thick fat Pokemon. Also changing the type for something more useful on thick fat, like Snorlax becoming something that's going to like that a bit more. Now, I'm not saying that you curse Araquanid with a grass type that's just going to be one less weakness, but I mean like steel type Araquanid going to pick up a lot of weird resistances, and then have like water steel threat. That's not the best dual typing, but again, there's like a lot of shenanigans that can happen over here, or you just lean into bug for leech life. So now you lose the fire weakness, and then you gain the double bug bonus. Your water is effectively still existing as an offensive option, especially when liquidation's so good. And then I don't know what you do after that, but yeah, there's like a lot of weird ideas. Lunge, Iron Defense, Infestation, Rest. You still have an item. Chesto Resto setup. I don't know. This Pokemon's got too much wackiness behind it, and that's going to be fun. Cordell said Silvally won't need its memory potentially, and that's interesting. Now the drawback here is like multi-attack, super powerful on that 120. There's no way that like Tera Blast is going to match that, but it does kind of open up to where like, okay, you're Silvally, and you can use whatever item you want because your Tera type is then going to become like the ideal thing you want. How does that interact? Because Arceus system doesn't really give any benefit except for like making multi-attack synergies, and it also has like really good moveset, really good stats on just the 95 across the board, and Yeah, what does mini Arceus do with an item? Like, do you just play it like an Arceus at that point, and then you have like some kind of Tera shenanigans? Could be interesting. Now, Cyrune came in with the right spirit, but the idea just isn't there because, like, we have Fake Out, Last Resort on normal types. Yes, that's going to be crazy. The problem is, why this worked on Lopunny, because they said Lopunny specifically, is because Mega gave Scrappy. So you could hit anything with Fake Out, Last Resort, and the base Lopunny does not have Scrappy, but Scrappy Pokemon with Boom Burst, Scrappy Pokemon with the Last Resorts or something like that. Any Last Resort Pokemon, Apom still really strong into normal typing, also representing a lot of power. Also 105 speed, good, but not great. Like 105 almost feels like the new, this is kind of where you want to be. It used to be 100 speed, but then speed creep has come in, and now it doesn't even feel like you're safe if you're under 110, and even 110 Pokemon aren't happy like Gengar. So a lot of like shenanigans here. Close, but not quite, but worth the like recognition. We had Serene Suicune coming in saying, yeah, just give flying to the Bastiodon, because then you're getting rid of the dual weakness. Again, kind of missing what I think is going to be the better idea of just making it a different, better durable typing. Where it's like, yeah, you just make it... making electric probably isn't the play here, because it is going to have one of its weaknesses. So it's like, oh man, I'm taking 2x instead of the guaranteed 4x, because everyone's going to hit this thing with an Earthquake. So there's probably like a really good type synergy here. If it gets Body Press, then you definitely want to go with the Fighting. And that's also where things kind of get weird, because we don't know if Bastiodon gets the Body Press. Didn't get it as like a level up in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, but also wasn't in Pokemon Sword and Shield, so we didn't get to see like the TR, TM, Tutor interaction with how Bastion gets. So if it gets Body Press, do you go Fighting, gain like insane stab, and then you just have less weaknesses and now you're nasty? Same thing for Aggron, same thing for Steelix. You just kind of make yourself into a much more advantageous type. So I can see the flying working to like reduce what's going to be coming your way, but it doesn't give you as much like longevity, because like flying weaknesses still common, especially if everything's Tera typing into electric. So that's something to consider. And there's still like some other like good potential monotypes that will be discovered through defensive shenanigans with this. Soundproof, also a really good ability. Like you don't need the sturdy anymore because you're not getting one shot by Earthquake, and you also are too tanky to get one shot by anything else. So soundproof means you can just eat things while also potentially like finding some other crazy things to do with this, and then that still gives you access to the Tera Blast. So I mean, like, what's something trolly? Like you go Fairy. There's no hidden power Fairy, so it's like, you go like Fairy, and then you have Curse, and then you just do shenanigans, and then you Chesto Resto. It's not a Curse Amnesia Pokemon, but you still have like high amounts of special defense. Yeah, it's one of those things like if it's in, and what its moveset becomes, and how other people kind of end up adapting and taking on these ideas. So yeah, I like the idea where it's like 4x weakness Pokemon, no more. And then the winner of Fan Fridays. I don't think I'm gonna be doing it like every week, even though we could talk like 2 hours a day until Pokemon Scarlet and Violet comes out and still not cover 10% of the strategies that are going to be insane. So that's how cool it is when you just kind of multiply the entire possibilities of Pokemon by 16. Rock. You make the Pokemon a rock type in a sandstorm. Right. Type interactions going into the next level. So specifically they said Ferrothorn. It's like, yo, you go Rock, Ferrothorn, and Sandstorm. That's nasty. Rock anything in some kind of reliable or self-setting or some kind of like Sandstorm shenanigans where it's like, yeah, I just get 50% free special defense, and then I can still utilize the advantages of Tera types. That's pretty good. Those are the kind of creative ideas that when you start digging deep, and then you have access to also however many people are watching this video wanting to engage with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that there's going to be some fun things found. That's why like battle replays need to happen, because it's going to be better than Pokemon Sun and Moon. Pokemon Sun and Moon with like all the mega interactions and all the crazy strategies that came out of just like Z interactions, that was something special, and we can beat it. And I think like Fan Fridays wouldn't have been as good as Sun and Moon, potentially, with Sword and Shield. Because, like, Dynamax, I liked it. I enjoyed competitive Pokemon more than Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I think, like, the way that people just expressed with Megas and Z moves was better. And we'll never know because it didn't happen. But I think, like, this could be the pinnacle. This could be the pinnacle of just everyone's strategy representation, and that's what I love. And I think I have to say this in like every video about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet moving forward, is that the beauty of Tera types is going to be you can pick any Pokemon and make it yours, and it will be completely unique. Your strategy will be whatever Pokemon everyone forgot about, plus the one like niche strategy and Tera interaction that only you discovered, and it's good because Tera types are busted. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.